Okay guys, what's up? It's your boy Waters back with another video, and today we'll be back with another tutorial, and I'll be showing you guys how to do better in build battles, how to outbuild people, and just generally how to win fights by being the superior builder. So the first tip that I want to tell you guys is, if anyone starts shooting at you at all, you want to build first. Don't look to where they are. Don't try and scan the surroundings or anything. If you hear a shot close to you or you get hit, you immediately want to build at least a 1x1 or a wall and a ramp to make sure that you're protected and you take the least amount of damage from that encounter. So as you can see throughout this video, throughout this gameplay that I show you, that even though I come up against some straight bots who don't build at all, who have terrible aim, I always make sure to give myself the advantage by building a wall or building a ramp and keeping sure that I have a place to duck, I have a place to hide, I have a place to make sure that I'm safe and I have a clear shot at them too. And as you can see, this guy, a lot of the people who you come up against in the early stages of the game, they won't know how to build. Half the people you face in the actual match are going to be people who don't know how to build, who don't know how to aim properly or anything like that. So all you have to worry about is that other half, or that small percentage of people who do know how to build at least a little bit, to where they're going to give you a little trouble and not be easy shots. And then the second thing I want to show you guys is the way to actually, when you see someone, to head towards them. As you can see, I use, there's many techniques to do it, but the one that I use is the ramp. So you wanna build a ramp and then jump from that ramp to the next one, like as you saw. That I keep building the ramps to make sure that I don't get hit, and it gives me that one level up over that person. So it's easier for me to rush them without actually taking any damage, which is really important, because in this game, having that 100 health in every fight is the most important thing you want to do. Now the next thing I want to focus on is making sure that you have the high ground. I know everybody says this in every single video, have the high ground, have the high ground. But what they don't tell you is that having the high ground is not as important as it seems, but it's one of the major things that will make you a better player. If you see throughout this thing, I always make sure to, when someone's trying to build above me, I either build a ramp or a pyramid over them so that they can't head up anymore. And as you can see, I utilize all of the building, floors, walls, everything, to make sure that this guy doesn't get above me. So I build a ramp over him before I actually go up, which is very important. You always want to do that. Even if you're a lower, you want to build a ramp one more up, so that if he's building above you, that he can't head over you as fast. So that's very important. And the next thing is, never give up your high ground. So I made a mistake there. I shouldn't have dropped down, but I did, because I knew he was on the lower side. But there's one thing you always want to do, is never give up the high ground when you have it. Always fight from on top. Even if you can't see the person, he'll be running down the bottom, and eventually he'll make a mistake to try and build out, and you need to seize your advantage there, because jumping down to their level, you could easily get one tapped with the shotgun, sprayed down by an SMG, and you don't want to take that risk and lose that fight just because you were dumb and you dropped down. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to make sure that you fight from the high ground, control the height position, because they won't be able to hit you as easily as you can hit them. So staying on top of the high ground is very important, and it's one of the major things to actually fight people more efficiently and win more build battles. So the next thing I want to do is, if, let's say in this situation where you're fighting someone who's a spammer, who spams rockets, who spams LMGs or anything like that, you want to make sure that you build, you want to build a lot. Just keep on building floors, ramps, walls. and make sure they don't know where you are. See, in this situation, I make sure to catch myself at every opportunity and build up again, because I want to make sure I stay above this guy. I take one shot, that's all I take. One shot, and I build over. And I take one more shot, and then I build over. That's all I'm doing here, because I know if I drop down and don't build, I'm gonna get killed by this guy. He's gonna keep spamming me, and there's nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. So what I do is one shotgun shot, build, a wall and a ramp, go up a level, one shotgun shot, move over, build over. You wanna continuously be building over and over, so he's not fully aware of where you are, and you can avoid his spams because he's not gonna know where you are. So he's not gonna know where to hit you, so he's gonna stop spamming. He's gonna start running around again, and you're gonna slowly lower his health by hitting that one shotgun shot every single time. So here I'm gonna show you in this next battle that I go into how to fight from the lower ground. In this battle and the last guy I fight from the lower ground. He's on the mountain, I'm on the bottom of the mountain. That's fine. You're just because he has that advantage doesn't mean you're gonna lose the fight. So I keep on moving, making sure I don't get hit by a sniper. And the way I build up is I ramp to the side, so it makes it harder for him to knock me down, because if you ramp to the side, it confuses the player, and also your ramps will give you protection for the one that's actually holding you up on the ground, so they can't shoot you out. And then here he makes the mistake of not building up, and I immediately get the high ground on this guy. See, because high ground is the most important factor of actually winning these fights. So you want to make sure that you don't give up the high ground ever. If he wants to build up, let him build up, but you don't want to be the guy who falls down and then gives him the advantage without him even having to do anything. You want to make him try and get the high ground. That's what you want to do, essentially. So this guy was kind of a camper. I don't know what he was doing. He was kind of just like building a bunch of walls and then just staying in one place. And I did see that guy in that corner over there, but I wasn't willing to take the risk yet. And he drops down and all that. So building from the bottom is difficult, but you can do it. It's a pretty simple technique. If someone starts shooting down on you, that's when you have to be a little more cautious when you're building up. So I'll focus later on that in this video when I actually face the guy who was shooting me while I was building up. But as you can see, I avoid this fight. I go down, I kill this guy who's down here, and I make sure, even though I have here, I want to build it with my own materials, because in any fight, if you're on someone else's builds, then that gives them the advantage, because that gives them advantage to edit you down, put you in a box, trap you. You don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that you're standing on your own builds, because that's the most important thing, essentially. So this guy starts shooting me from the top. He makes a huge mistake and actually drops down to my level, which is, you never want to do that. That's not smart at all. But I don't get to kill this guy because he gets sniped, so that was kind of bad. But okay, so later another guy quickly rushes me, which I didn't really expect him to, but he came, and there'll be a lot of people who you'll just see and then they'll just come after you. But you always got to be prepared to build first. When you see someone, build first. When you get shot, build first. You want to make sure that's the first thing you do. You see this guy, I build. If they're spamming, just keep on placing the wall. And I keep on going. This guy, I just shoot him with RPG after that, so it's pretty easy. But another tip that's really helpful in build battles. This improved my game so much. I became such a better player when I started doing this stuff. You want to make sure that you place a floor and then you place a ramp. You don't. I used to just put a wall ramp. You don't want a wall ramp. You want a floor wall ramp. You want to do that because that makes sure that if someone's trying to shoot you from the bottom, they have to shoot through 2 layers to actually get to you. And also the floor gives you that extra protection from anyone trying to shoot you, and the ramp and the wall give you protection from anyone trying to shoot you from the front. And that's very important to. And you can see that I always build floor ramp because I want to get that extra protection. So even if I get spammed from the bottom, I know he has to go through 2 layers, which gives me essentially the advantage. And as you see, I killed that guy because I had the height advantage. I made sure to build up first, so I was ready for him, and then I shot him. So hitting your shots is important, but making sure you have the high ground is more. Building is everything in this game. I know the gun skill is amazing. I know if you have perfect aim, you're going to be a good player, but you want to make sure that you're building up and you're ready for them when they come to you. You don't want to be that guy who's always building from the bottom. You want to make sure you're up there. I can give you some tips on how to regain the high ground. You wanna do double ramp, up and down, but not too far because you can get shot out. Another way to do it is if you're on the bottom, kind of shoot up, try and like break some of the builds on the bottom, which will force him down to your level, which makes it a lot easier for you to actually get him, because he'll think you're trying to shoot him out, and he'll drop down, which is also a lot easier, which is a quick way to regain the high ground on someone. So this is where I fight this guy from the bottom. He's got the biggest height advantage ever. He's on the side of a mountain. He's hitting me, and all I do is build a wall, and then I try and shoot him back. So I'm on the low ground. I know I'm on the low ground, and what I do is I slowly build up to him. I make sure my base is strong. I secured it with walls and floors and ramps, and I quickly just lay some fire on this guy to make sure he doesn't spam me or anything like that. And I can do the same thing, wall, then build back, floor and ramp. So I'm protected. He can't shoot me down, and I'm slowly getting up to his level. You don't want to just quickly rush up there, just ramp, because he could have shot me down any second there. I kind of made a bad judge here because he shot me out, but quickly I made sure that I wasn't high enough to actually die from that, so that's good. But so I was still in a tough position here to actually beat this guy, but he continuously tried to snipe me, which isn't the smartest thing to do, but I knocked him down a couple of times, and then I started to do this. I used my bouncers to actually get up a little bit higher so he couldn't shoot me. And right now we were on the same level, and that's when I make my move. He falls down. I'm on the high ground now. So I made him risk it, and I made him try and move over to me, and that's where he made the mistake, and I shot him out. And now I had the high ground on this guy, which is always what you're looking for. You always want to look at the high ground. Right after I shoot the RPG, I start building again. I make sure to stay up on the high ground. This guy does not do anything, and this is where I make this smart play. I make sure that I stay on my high ground. I don't move from there. I don't want to drop down to this guy's level. I know he's got a P90. I don't want to deal with that. So I continuously just build, and he comes out. I hit him with the RPG once, and I know I'm on low health. They don't want to get one shot. So I just look around, and then I finally finish him off. So if you guys enjoyed these tips, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe and comment or anything. If you guys want to actually see me like build battle people in playgrounds and